So my name is John Matecki. Answering questions will be Dan Buddha Damata. So if you have questions throughout the presentation, you can put them in the message to everyone, or if it is specific and if you don't want everyone to see it, go ahead and message Dan direct. If it's something that is for the greater good, we'll answer it for everybody, or you'll get a direct message back. So at the end of the presentation, we'll open it up for you to unmute yourselves and ask questions verbally. But in the meantime, if you have a question that you think you're going to forget, go ahead and put it in the chat and we can address it as we go. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. One other thing, if you could, we'd like to collect some information so that we can continue to update you as we move through our endeavors. So if you could either go to our website, twenterprise.org. We have a mailing list there. If you could go drop us a line there so that we can get your address, or if you'd like to put it in the chat, either one would be perfectly acceptable, but we just want to make sure that we can keep you abreast of what's going on inside the event. All right, so here's our agenda for today. We're going to give you a quick introduction. I see there's a lot of new names and faces on this call, which is great. So we'll give you an introduction of Tech Warrior and what Tech Warrior Enterprise does. Then we'll cover some of the event details. Then the biggest part that we're going to go through very slowly is how to register to complete all your paperwork appropriately. Some important deadlines and upcoming events that we have in conjunction with this. And then, of course, what would Ask Me Anything be without you asking questions? So we'll have questions. And again, if you have questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to put them in the chat. They will either be answered directly or we'll answer them live as we go through the presentation. So starting off with an introduction to Tech Warrior Enterprise. Tech Warrior Enterprise was birthed out of an event that was run by Air Force Research Laboratory. Post 9/11, the research laboratory realized that there were some technologies that were coming out of the lab that didn't necessarily meet the needs of their end users. So they created this environment called Operation Tech Warrior for for the scientists and engineers to go out and walk a mile in their customers' shoes. We've taken that concept and expanded it into the two that we'll discuss here momentarily and rebirthed it, dust to Phoenix, rising from the ashes to where we are now, the Tech Warrior Enterprise. So here's our mission. Obviously, big, bold words mean something. This is what we're going to be offering you. We're going to give you a platform. Well, it'll be virtual. We'll get into how we're going to do this to test, experiment, collect data, showcase, and demonstrate. The showcase and demonstrate is the key part that we'll get into when we start talking about your subject matter experts, that you'll actually get to talk to end users to give you direct feedback. So how do we meet these our goals? Well, we have a fail forward mentality. If we can find mistakes in the safety of our events and help you get your technology honed in, by the time it gets to the warfighter, all these bugs are worked out. If we go the other way of you just push your device out, put it on the market, your device gets someone hurt or killed, there's a good chance you're going to be held liable. At a minimum, your company's probably going to go bankrupt. You're going to have a bad name inside the community. So we're trying to prevent that. So with the fail forward, we want to find those mistakes that are inside of your devices so that we can fix them and hone in to make it the best possible device that the user wants. And we can do this through, we can actually accelerate by getting that end user feedback. You can move a little bit faster, reduce some of your costs because you're getting the feedback from the customer. And then the biggest thing that the Tech Warrior Enterprise provides you, conversation earlier, I love cookies, but the one thing we are not a cookie cutter organization. We will take your inputs and what it is that you want out of each engagement with us and try our absolute best to give you what you need, not just something that we feel that is going to fit all. We want to make sure that we're getting you the feedback that we need within reason. Now, obviously, if you need us to send a rocket up to the moon, that's probably something that's going to be a little bit difficult for us, but we will do our best. And if we can't do it, we'll point you in the right direction for someone. So this is how we achieve our goals. I alluded to this earlier. We run two programs. The one that most of you are here interested is our Ops event, which we're going to be hosting 19 through 23 April. But one of the other events that we offer is Tech Warrior Connect. So So these are our two founding legs of the enterprise.
Okay.
So with the first one, we've got the provider is our Tech Warrior Connect. This is nothing more than a one-on-one environment for you to come in, sit down, tailor-made around your schedule. Can be as short or as long. It could be nothing more than just sitting down and doing some exploratory communication of, hey, what do you think about this? Where should we go that way? What should we do with this? Or maybe it gets more involved of, hey, I want to send you my product. Can you play with it? Give me feedback. We get on a conference call because of COVID. We walk through that process.
I can hear you fine. It just seems like it's delayed almost.
All to make sure that it's tailor-made to what you need, fits your needs. So that is the Tech Connect. Our next one that most of you are interested in is the Tech Warrior Ops. So the difference there is we will bring in multiple users, multiple companies, because as we've seen throughout the model of this, some of you as small businesses only have a target of one community and don't realize that there's 5, 6 other communities that you could potentially have inside your market. So we try to open up your aperture to see other customer bases. And then the other thing that we do is, within reason, we want to make sure that you potentially, if you're not on mute, can you please mute your microphone? Someone's unmuted and we're getting talking to somebody.
Look at the phone procedure, right?
All right, there we go. I just muted myself. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that if there is some synergy between company A and company B, obviously you guys need to make sure that you put all the appropriate barriers in place to make sure you're good to go as far as NDAs and stuff. But we've seen companies, we've had 7 companies work together that we're thinking about, hey, if I take this from you and that from you, we could do something even better than individually. So that's what this event is. And then it gives you exposure to the multiple user groups. So a little bit about our event. So obviously the event's going to be 19 through 23 April. Unfortunately, it's going to be virtual. 99% guaranteed will be on the Zoom platform. We're trying to make it as simple as humanly possible on you, the small business, so that it's clear, concise, and you know exactly where to go. So each day of the event, you will have one single particular room that you are required to be in. You will have advance notice of your time frame you're supposed to be in there. So you'll click that link, you'll join us, and we'll get into how those rooms will work. But you'll have 4 separate rooms throughout the course of the week. The fifth day, Friday, is going to be our catch-all. So if something happens where we need to expand, or you need more communication, or needed to talk to individuals, that's what the 5th day of the event is going to be. In case there was overflow, something that we needed to do that give us that safety net. But as a small business, you can expect 4 separate rooms. One is your subject matter expert room, SME, to where you're going to be demoing. Then at the end, on Wednesday or Thursday, you'll have an outbrief from those folks of things that they thought of, different avenues, approaches to go with your device. You also have a day to where you'll go in and pitch to government tech scouts. We'll get into who they are and what they do. And then the last one will be an industry pitch room. So those will be your 4 required rooms to attend. However, there will also be, throughout the duration of the event, other rooms open that will have some type of education benefit to you as a small business. Our different partners will come in and tell you things that they have to enhance what you're doing and just make you an overall better business. So maybe someone from our partners at Kansas or Oklahoma SBDC will come in and talk to you and talk about what they have going on and events that they have. We'll have our partners from Apex come in and tell you about that and how some of the things they offer can benefit you. So, but those are optional rooms, highly encouraged for you to attend. The 4 rooms you need to be in as a registered participant will be the 4 that I just talked about. Your subject matter expert demo room, your subject matter expert debrief room, tech scout pitch, and industry pitch. So let's get into each room and why they're important. So our subject matter experts, we pull in as many subject matter experts as possible to meet your needs and tie it to what it is that you want out of this event. Now, if you're trying to look for a Navy SEAL to come in and talk to, that's probably going to be a tall order. Now, if you're looking for someone from security forces in the Air Force, a little bit more simple. So we will do everything to try to get that Navy SEAL, but as we know, that's going to be a very tall order to get, and we'll do everything that we can to get them there. If we can't, we're going to try to find a suitable substitute. But these are some of the common things that you can expect from our subject matter experts. In this picture to the right, there's north of 50 years of combat military experience, from medical to combat deployments. And then there's other folks. So we bring in as many folks as we can to make sure that we take care of you. So inside your subject matter demo, again, you're going to meet with these folks twice. Your first encounter will happen to where you're going to be a demo. And there's three options to demo in the environment we're currently in. One, you can get with us on the side. You go to twenterprise.org. There's contact us with our email and everything. You'll see it at the end of this. Reach out to us. We'll set up with you how to get your device mailed to us and what we'll do with the device. So that's the first option. You can send it to us, let us play with it, our subject matter experts. You could create a video of either yourself or someone demoing the device, or you can give us a live demo on camera the day of the event. What we want is, once you emphasize how your product, your technology is going to help the warfighter, we want you to talk about how it works. And keep in mind, this is going to change as you go through the pitch rooms. We want to see how it works. I want to see, if you say you've got a pen and you can write it upside down, the first thing we're going to want to do is put the pen upside down and start writing to see if that works. Then emphasize how your technology is different from what's currently being used, or if there's nothing like it out there. So breaking it down Barney style, think of it as a grade school show and tell. For some of you folks that are a little bit younger, don't know if they do this in school anymore, but basically look at it as, I bring in my Barbie doll and I say, if I apply water to her hair, it'll change color. So I then take a cup of water, pour it on her beautiful blonde hair, and it turns pink. You show and tell the product. Very simple. If for some reason you're lost on the concept on this, please send us a message and we'll set up time to talk to you. We'll do a tech connect with you, figure out how to go through this in the right method for you if need be. So that's your SMEs. So you're going to give your demonstration on one day, and then you'll come back in the room at a later time and sit down with these folks, and they will give you a full debrief on, hey, I chewed on this, I thought this over. You said that there's only one application, but I came up with these other 10 you should look at as avenues. So this way you've got some call to action type stuff afterwards, that it's not just them playing with the device. They're going to give you a formal outbrief of what they're doing. So now on to the next two rooms, which are going to be completely different. So this is demo. Now we're getting into pitches. The first group is the government tech scouts. So the government tech scouts are represented by the major commands across. We try to invite as many as we can. Our invite list for these tech scouts will be north of 100 folks, and we get what we get. But one of the major players that comes in is from CENTCOM. He'll come in and probably be the main person in there. What they do is they're tasked with finding new technologies, but they also have needs. So let's say they need a pen that writes upside down. You have a pen that writes upside down. There's a good chance that you're probably going to wind up on a contract versus someone who doesn't fit a need. That's not to say that you can't. And they also have the ability to fast track folks. These folks pushed several items up. One of the main things that they were working on in COVID response was pushing up some of those fast testing devices. One of them actually made it all the way up through to Mike Pence. So they can help you get fast track. However, I want you to keep in mind, this is not a just, okay, I show up and I'm done. There is some legwork that you're going to have to do as a small business. They can help open doors for you. You're the one who has to walk through them. If you walk through one door and the other one's closed, you may have to kick it in. But know that there is a possibility of getting that first door open for you. So I don't want anyone to come in thinking that just because I'm in front of these folks, I'm all of a sudden going to become a millionaire. There's still processes that you need to go through and steps that you'll have to take, which will be spelled out for you. So that is the government tech scouts. Again, this is the folks that you want to give as much information to. We'll get into how that pitch should be. But I want to make sure the clear foot stomp distinction that we have to make is the government tech scouts are specific task through major commands that you'll be pitching to in that room only, not to be confused with our industry scouts. The industry scouts is basically an open room. We'll send out the invite to hundreds of different folks, and they can range from buyers, decision makers, just military members. And the biggest one for you, small businesses, we could have VCs in there. We could have angel investors. You never know who's going to be in that room. So with that, again, this is your company. You pitch how you want to pitch. We'll get into that in a minute. When you're in this room, highly encouraged that you ensure you are not divulging your full IP. Again, your business, you run it how you want. A little advice, if it was me pitching, I'm not putting I'm not opening up full Komodo at this time. I'm going to make sure that I put enough information out to get them interested, but that's it. Now, when you're in with the government tech scouts, you may want to put as much information out as humanly possible. Okay, I'll cover that. Sorry, we're looking at some of the chats coming in, trying to answer them. I'll go back to them as they come in. So if you have a chat in there, we will cover it. So this is what we want out of your pitch. You'll have 20 minutes in the room. And once you come in the room, we'll give you a quick spiel of, you're now in this room, you have 20 minutes, you have 9 minutes to present, 9 minutes for question and answer, and then 2 minutes for clarification. Highly encouraged, if you can have someone from your team write down notes, specifically when you get into that 9 minutes of question and answer, so that you can prepare yourself. We will also try to provide a transcript of what was said. However, it's always good. Murphy is living and breathing. We're getting closer to St. Patrick's Day, so he's going to be living and breathing a lot more, probably drinking some spirits, and will, without a shadow of a doubt, show up at our event. I can tell you right now, Murphy is registered, and Murphy's Law will apply 100%. So have a backup to the backup to the backup. So highly encouraged for you to have your own scribe to make sure you're capturing everything. The biggest thing of coming in here is, no, you have 20 minutes. Your 9 minutes to present is your 9 minutes. The next slide that I'm about to show you is going to set you up for success. When you are pitching, emphasize how your technology can help the warfighter. Because if you're not in that for the warfighter, then you can go on Shark Tank or some other place for funding. Why should these folks, specifically the tech scouts, listen to get you fast tracked? You've got to be helping those men and women that are out there in uniform, saving our butts, to and including first responders. This is differing from your demonstration to the SMEs. Talk about what it can do, not how it works. So in your pitch, what it can do. In your demo, how it works. So please keep them in mind and know that each one is different. Again, how does your technology stand out? Is it lighter? Is it leaner? Is it cheaper? Is it edible? Whatever separates you from the competition, that's what you need to do. There is a fine line that you as a company, and there are resources out there, I can tell you some of them are on the line right now, that can help you with this. But this we've seen make or break several companies. You are not selling your device to these folks that are listening to your pitch in the government tech scout room. So do not try to be a salesman. Talk about what it does and then leave it at that. The selling can come later. That's not the time nor the place. Now, if you are so inclined to do that in the industry room, more appropriate than the government tech scout room. Again, you're given 9 minutes. Use graphics, charts sparingly. They're going to take up time if you've got something that clutters the screen that is not relevant to what you're talking about. you're distracting, and now they can lose focus on what it is that you're trying to convey. So use them only if they're going to enhance what you're saying. Highly, 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 highly recommend it. No videos whatsoever. 2 reasons behind this. A, Murphy, biggest reason in the world right there. Murphy will come in, you'll press play, and it'll mess up or won't play at all. 2, sending these inside the government, these videos don't necessarily always go through via email. So if you had to share it, it's not going to work. Now, do not confuse this with the videos for your subject matter expert room. I want to make that crystal clear that your subject matter expert room, you're going to treat one way. Your government tech scout room, you're going to treat a different way. And you may or may not do the same in the industry room. So you may have 3 approaches to each room. Again, your business, you have to do what's best for your business, what sets you up for success. And if you're unsure of that, reach out. Our team will help guide you in the right direction. All right, how to register. This is the most important part. So let me open this up. So you should be seeing Tech Warrior Enterprise website. I hope you're seeing that. So there are 2 places that you can find it. The very first thing I want to point out on this website is, if you haven't done so in the chat, here's a good spot for you to go type in your email, sign up. If there's any updates or anything else that we add to this event where we're doing something, you're on our mailing list. We have you to be able to contact you for what's coming up, and even in the future, give you other notifications. So again, join our mailing list right here on our homepage, twenterprise.org. Now for the registration, there's 2 places you can go for that. One is the event calendar. Right here underneath the dates, you can hit this. Once we're done here in the next couple of days, we'll populate the next Ask Me Anything link. Some of you may have found that today right here, but the 18 March link will go up underneath here. This will disappear obviously after today. But right here is your registration. You can click here, take you in there, you're good to go. The second place that you can find this is under Tech Warrior events. Go to Tech Warrior Ops, watch the amazing video, read all this great stuff, go to the bottom, click register today, and it will take you to the site. Clicking either one of those 2 links will put you at this site. More information. You can, if you see it 3 times, it's probably going to stick with you. And if it's out there 3 different times, it's probably pretty relevant. So again, here's the dates. Why you should register? Boom, right there. You want to follow us on all of our platforms, come back to the website, easy to do. A little bit of the dates again. You want to save it to your calendar, you can do so. Here are the great partners that we have that are helping us helping us bring this event to you. Parallax Advanced Research, our mother company, is giving us amazing support. We're in their building. They paid the electricity bill. Couldn't do this without them. Internet's rocking and rolling. Otherwise, this wouldn't happen. And obviously, the Air Force SBIR, STTR office, who is supporting not only the United States Air Force, but also U.S. Space Force. Yes, the Space Force is relevant. I won't go any further than that. Now, some of you are asking, do I have to be pursuing an Air Force SBIR, STTR in order to attend this event? No. In order to be part of this event, you must be a small business, as listed by SBA, in working on a product for this specific event, working on a tactical product that will fill a need for a warfighter and or a first responder. If you have something outside of that, please don't just drop off, because we're going to be offering other events as we go through the year. This specific event is tactical. If you're not 100% sure where your device fits, register. Let us figure that out. If you're not a fit for this event, we're going to point you to the right direction to get into the right event, and we will work with you through our Tech Connects leading up to those events. So please submit your devices. Let us make the determination whether you're a fit or not. Don't automatically rule yourself out. So this is the landing page. From here, very important documents to cover. We will get into these last, but these documents are key. These 3 here are information about Tech Warrior Enterprise, but these top 2 are important. You must look at these documents, and we'll walk through them once we go through the other steps. You have to have these documents in order to complete your registration. Some more information. Obviously, if you were on here, you'd see, boom, there you go. We're doing this right now as we speak. Easy link. Here's some upcoming dates. Again, you'll probably see these dates again in a little bit, which means they're probably important. Frequently asked questions. Give you the opportunity, if you're watching this on the recording of this, you'll be able to come in here, hear what folks were asking, but you'll also be able to come here to the frequently asked questions. Again, tells you a little bit about who the government tech scouts are, the SMEs, your public pitch, answers all your questions, how do you register, and so on and so forth. Again, our amazing hosts. And then the big one. So for you as registrants, there are 3 options depending on who you are. You click here, you've got a general admission. So the general admission has a little definition right here, spells it out. These folks will be able to come in and listen to some of the pitches, and will be able to attend the education pieces. So if you're just out there and you're looking to find a way to, I want to learn some more stuff because learning is amazing, this would be you. If you fall into the industry category and you want to be able to listen to all of the pitches in the open form, you will register underneath industry. And most importantly, if you are a small business that wants to participate and have the option to go into all 4 of those rooms, you'll click on small business. Now, this is not a pick and choose event. If you register, you can't say, I just want to talk to the tech scouts, or I just want to talk to the subject matter experts. If there is a relevant reason for you not to be in there, get with us. We will help you, and you will be ready for those rooms. If it's, I don't like to talk to people, I happen to be a person, there's some other persons outside this wall, we'll get you in front of people and we'll break those barriers down so that you're able to do that. If you avoid any of those rooms, you're doing yourself and your company a disservice. So please, when you register, have the intent to be in all of the rooms. If you believe that there's issues, we'll work through it with you. If we can't take care of it, we're going to point you to someone. So we're going to walk through how to register as a small business. You got here, you read all of this, you understand it, you're going to click go. It's going to take you in here. You're obviously going to put in your information. So you put a valid email address. Good news, I've already done this, okay? So we'll go with a different email address so we can walk through the whole thing. We're going to create a password. Don't look at my password. If someone's in your office, good news is they can't see it. Now they don't remember what I typed. Hopefully they match. Title, are you a doctor? Are you a mister? Whatever you want to put in here. I'm going to say I'm a doctor, wishful thinking. Obviously your first name, if you don't know your first name, I don't know how you got on this call because you probably know your first name. Last name, phone number. All right, everything's good. We're going to verify all our information is good. We're going to click continue. Boom. We're good. Once we save my password, nope. So from in here, we already filled out our personal information. Our next step is to upload some documents. We'll get to that in a second, but we cannot complete the registration until we do this. So let's say you started this process, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna come back later. You're probably going to forget, but our amazing team that we have is going to send you an email saying, hey, you started the process. We see you logged in. You didn't complete it. Reminder, complete your stuff. Offer you help if you need it. Make sure you get in here. Simple questions. What is your company name? Matecki LLC. What is your technology name? Do you have a name for your, if you don't, then put NA. Most of you probably know what you're calling your product. This 3 to 4 sentence gives us a read ahead of what your device does. And this helps us guide you in the right direction, and also will be used to help set the event up to suit your needs and requirement. So in here you can put, tell us a little bit about what your device does, how it works, problems that it solves. What technical readiness level are you at? I'm at a 7. How are you currently funding? If you have a product, you probably have some funding source. Are you through a government contract? Do you have venture capitalists? Did you fund it yourself? So put something in here. I'm going to say I bootstrapped it. Have you ever worked with the DoD before? This is going to help us as we go. If you put no, and we're offering some how to work with a DoD seminar, we'll recommend that to you. Hey, you've never worked with the government before. Here's a little information on them. And then these are optional, but highly encouraged for you to fill out. Tell us what your goals are. What do you want to get out of this event? The more you tell us, the better we can set you up for success. So for me, I want to have a good time. That's probably 2 words. And then from here, I'm going to click continue. Now, it is not going to let me confirm my registration because I did not attach my files. So now, let's get into those files. The first one was the Word document. When you open it up, this is what it's going to tell you. That we are requesting 5 things from you in specific format, specific ways. Your quad chart, most of you already have a quad chart. We have an example, which is the other document, which I'll get to here in a minute. We're going to want your information paper. This is not your white paper. We want an information paper, and we'll get into some details. Your presentation can be the same presentation that you're using in your pitch. However, comma, we want it to be 10 slides or less. Less is okay, but no more than 10. Your bottom line up front, and then POC list of folks that you're already working with. If you're working with, excuse me, if you're working with other agencies, or if you already started some work inside the government, we want you to let us know so that as it's being solicited, they're not reinventing the wheel. They're not going back talking to the same people you already talked to. So real simple, your quad chart information, you can put your slick sheets that you have that are similar to what we have listed on the site. Keep in mind, if you are a company that has 2, 3 technologies that you're wanting to present at this, that's fine. The more the merrier. Put them all in, and if we need to, we'll go through them and say, this isn't a good fit for this one. But the main thing with that is if you put in more than 1 device, 1 quad chart for each item, 1 information paper for each item, 1 presentation for each item. They need to be separate. So your registration can be done 1 time, but you're going to submit 2 separate documents if you have 2 devices, and so on and so forth. Your information paper, short, sweet, 3 pages max, 8th grade English. Make sure that don't use jargon and that you need a college degree to understand it. Because it goes, when you think if this gets pushed up, they're only going to have a couple minutes to read this. And if something's really complicated, there's a good chance you're going to get passed over. So keep it short, simple, to the point. Next is our presentation, limited to 10 slides. Again, this could be what you use for your pitch, or if you wanted to create something else, but no more than 10 slides. Then your bottom line up front. Again, less than 6 sentences, 8th grade English. This is normally what you would put at the end of your white paper. What does it do? Give me right up front. My device, we'll go back to the pen analogy. I've got a super pen that can write in any environment, can write upside down, in water, Boom, that's my bottom line up front. Who your POCs are. Don't send any links in with any of this stuff. Here is a information paper for you to follow, spells it out of all of what you need to do. We won't get into that. You can read that at your leisure, but basically walks you through each step of how to fill it out. The biggest thing that we could tell you, biggest thing that we've seen that companies kill themselves with is when you put your POC on here, make sure that that is the POC. So if they call Mr. Snuffy and Snuffy says, well, that's not me, I got to pass you off to Lucy, they're not going to make that second call. There's a good chance that you just lost them. So make sure whoever you list as the POC, that they're going to be the person that's going to be contacted throughout. They can't pass them off to someone else. All right, the next document that we're going to bring up is where is it? Your quad chart. Again, very simple. You can fill this in. You can put your stuff in this, edit it, send it to us. Spells it out nice and simple. Very easy and user friendly. If you run into any questions or are just unclear of stuff, reach out to us. We'll do our best to answer your questions. If we can't answer it, we're going to point you in the right direction to get that answer. All right, some important dates to keep in mind. Our next Ask Me Anything is going to be 18 March at 2 p.m. on Zoom. Link will be out sometime early next week. The big one to remember is the event registration will close at 11:59 on 2 April. So as the calendar switches over to 3 April, registration will be locked down and you will not have access to that ability anymore on that website. And then obviously the big dates, 19 through 23 April is the event, and this will be virtual on Zoom. Questions. I'm going to go through the chat, answer some questions. If you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself. If you'd like to ask it verbally. If for some reason something pops up at a later date that you go, man, I wish I would have answered this, hit us up at twenterprise@parallaxresearch.org. If you brain dump all of that, the best thing to do is join our mailing list. Also, our contact information is all on twenterprise.org. So with that, I will leave this up. I'm going to go to the start of this. If someone has a question while I'm reading, please unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and then ask your question.
Hey, John, I have an easy question.
Go ahead, Barbara.
I'm Barbara Bonner, and I'm with Oklahoma SBDC. Did you mention what the minimum TRL to apply to this event would be, or what you would prefer?
So submit regardless of where you are in your TRL. With this being virtual, we've got a little bit of latitude. Where the team at the Tech Warrior Enterprise can really make the biggest difference is when you give us something tangible. So you can tell me all day long about your pen that's going to write upside down. That's great. When you hand me the pen and I literally try to write upside down and it doesn't work, then we can give you feedback on, hey, we did this, or we took it underwater and it didn't work.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, John, this is William Struckman with Capella Audio.
Hey,
I got a quick question for you. So as far as the POC goes, if you don't currently have somebody inside the government that you're working with, will that affect your registration?
It will not. So if you're not working with any POCs and you don't have a POC list, you can just not submit that document.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Not to be confused with, so like, William, you're the POC for your product. We want to make sure that if someone reaches out, that you don't say, well, I'm sorry, you got to contact John.
Yes, sir.
two different POCs on that. So if you're not working with anyone and you haven't done any of that yet, yes, absolutely, you do not need to submit a POC list of folks.
Great. Thanks for the clarification.
I'm going through the questions. Jared Evans, absolutely, we will be in touch with you. We can set up a one-on-one. Would love that. Thank you so much. Any other questions? I'm going through slowly.
So TR level, question is minimum TR level to apply.
Yeah, so one of the questions we're going through, Barbara, we just answered with Barbara. Again, the higher TRLs, the more feedback we can give you because you're giving us something tangible to touch or you're showing us something. However, if you're in a lower, we can probably direct you into our Connect events. We can still be helpful to you. Submit and let us make that determination. Don't rule yourself out based off of you think you're too low of a TRL.
Okay, one of the questions is, will the attendee SME's demo be limited to the groups that we invite, or will they be open to groups that we don't anticipate or control?
So we will make sure that we try to get the best. We want to do the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of companies. So we're going to try to bring in subject matter experts that will fit the needs of most, if not all, of the companies. If there is someone specific that you would like to have there, please put that in your registration of, hey, it would really be great if you could have, someone from Air Force Security Forces because I have something that's specifically to them. Or it'd be really great if you could try to get us a pararescueman or something to that effect. We will try to get them or a suitable substitute for them. So one thing I forgot to mention in the beginning, right now, because of this virus, we've got to do things like this. Some of you are probably just as unhappy with looking at the computer screen as I am. However, safety's got to come first. It's one of the things I don't like coming out of my mouth because I want to see you in person. I want to, shake your hand, look you in the eye. But we got to do what's best for our local communities, the country, and overall the world to stop the spread of this virus. So to do that, we have to do it this way. When we get back to normal, if and whenever that is, there will be multiple things going on in our events. We've got some veterans that have attended, but so you'll do the same rooms. However, we'll also have active duty military units or reserve units running side missions. So there will be 10, 15 things going on at once, multiple people playing with your devices. So in that aspect, that's going to open it up more. The second part of that question is ITARs. Yes, we want you to have an American-made product. You need to be compliant with that. If you have it to where it is, you have ITAR, we will make sure that if we got any visitors from outside the country, we would definitely flag that and let you know. But as far as your product, you need to be compliant with the rules stated inside the SBIR, that if it needs to be created in America, if your product's overseas, set up a one-on-one conversation with us and we'll patriotize you and point you in some directions with some of our great partners to get your product back on our soil. It's the only way to you got to make this country the best it can be. So if that's you, if you're outsourcing, I'm not shaming you at all, but talk to us. We've got some amazing partners like Barbara who have some avenues to get you stuff done right here in our country.
The other one too was
Hey, John, David Burnett here. I just wanted to inform you and the TWE team that our company was recently awarded 20.3 SBIR Open Innovation Phase 1, and that would not have been possible without the things you guys are doing. And essentially that stemmed from our attendance at the event, the Tech Warrior Enterprise event in 2019. We were denied that same proposal in 2019, and the feedback that you and your team provided allowed us to implement some design changes. And in turn, we essentially end up winning our first SBIR award. So I just wanted to speak to how important the program that you guys are putting on is instrumental to emerging technologies trying to figure out the various hurdles in getting new products into the government. So thank you for that. And then a follow-on question is, Parallax was just awarded a $12 million contract. I was curious if much of that award is going to go toward making the program even better than what it is. Is any of that funding going to be used toward creating new facilities at Calamityville, or are you guys looking at new facilities to acquire?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So that $12 million keeps me employed. And then we'll bring in some people as we feel necessary. Absolutely not. Yes, that is going to expand. We are no longer at the site that some of you used to. So if you're a veteran of Tech Warrior Ops, we no longer use that site. We have a new home. That $12 million contract that Dave referred to was specifically for Tech Warrior, used to facilitate our events, grow as needed, bring in the right resources, and expand as the team and leadership sees fit. So, go ahead. Someone have a question?
Yeah, John, this is Jerome Solar. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Wonderful. I want to clarify the ITAR question.
Mhm.
As a small business that's working in the defense space, we have to deal with new requirements from DFARS and NIST in terms of what we can do over the internet. And we need to know if the certain meetings are limited as to who can attend, and also the infrastructure is there to be able to present certain kinds of documents. Because if things are not set up a certain way, we could be fined tens of thousands of dollars for doing a presentation of something we shouldn't. That's what I was really trying to get at, you know, because it impacts what we can present and how we can present it.
Yeah, so I would say you're probably in a small percentage of folks. So what we would do is let's get a one-on-one on the books with you and walk through to make sure that you're compliant so that you don't wind up in hot water. We don't wind up in hot water. So if there's any companies that you're in that same boat, get with us and we'll walk through the process of how to do this appropriately to get you in accordingly. So we've got another question. I already answered, but I'll double tap. You can have multiple technologies. You need to do one registration for that technology. However, we're going to need individual quad charts, information paper, and your presentations for each one of those. So when you're registering, if you could put the titles of each in there, so that'll flag us to go, yes, I should be looking for, 3 different devices coming in paperwork wise, but you are eligible to put in as many devices as you want, as long as they are applicable. And again, our team will sort out the applicability. Next question is from Mike. Yes, we'll reach out, get you what you need, and we'll set up a one-on-one with you.
Are you able to answer the question posted for that?
So yes, the warfighter, the term warfighter is broad, and we try to fit across genres. So depending on what your device is used for is where our team of experts will sit down and go, yes, this is something that we can put into this specific event. Going back to, if you've got something that obviously is tactical, but it's a missile, that's going to be a little bit difficult for us to test and facilitate. So again, we'll look at those, and it may not be for this specific event, but we'll try to point you in the right direction for those. Let's see. So yes, there's advantages of submitting your registration now, because it allows us to look at it now, and then we can start those communications if need be to help prep you to set you up for success versus last minute. So the more lead time and the more conversation that we can have and help figure out and pull out what is best for you would work. So if you think about it of a loose string on your shirt, if we start pulling it now, if I would have started at 2:05 when I started this presentation, by now I'm probably down to my t-shirt, versus if you would have sent it to me now, I probably only have a little string. So let us pull on that string early versus late.
The last question is, what will happen to be notified if they're accepted?
So once 2 April hits, we will gather all the data, start looking at it. And yes, we do work over the weekend. So the 3rd and 4th, we'll start collecting all that data, looking and make sure that everybody's a fit at that point. And then we'll make all the notifications within that week. If you submit something today and it's completely not a fit, we will reach out to you immediately. So as you're submitting your stuff and we look and go, yeah, that's not something in our wheelhouse for this event, we will notify you as quick as possible. I think that's it. All the other ones are old friends and family sending messages. It's good to see a lot of, it's great to see old faces. We love folks to keep coming back. There's at least 10, 15 folks on here who could tell you everything that I said and tell you why you should attend. And then it's great to see all the new folks. So we're coming up on the hour mark. I want to make sure that all of the questions were answered in chat. So if you have a question that you didn't ask in chat, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away. Again, if you think of questions, after the fact, please email us at twenterprise@parallaxresearch.org. Go to our website, join our mailing list. If you didn't share your email in the chat, please do that so that we can keep you updated on what's coming. If we decide to add an extra Ask Me Anything, or let's say for some reason we've got another event with one of our partners, we'll keep you up to date with that stuff that's relevant to you. So we'll do a last call. We'll hang out. We'll see if anything happens in the next 3 minutes. If no one asks a question in the next 3 minutes at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we'll go ahead and shut her down. So are there any final questions from anyone on the line? All right, folks, I'm going to keep this up for another 2 minutes. If anything pops up, feel free to jump and say something. But with that, that concludes our Ask Me Anything, unless there's any questions that pop up in the next 2 minutes. Thank you for attending. We look forward to working with you.